Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to hopefully the last AI game series that I have to cast in a long time. It is between Herr Acker and the Blue Heart AI. And frankly, we've seen so much AI action. I don't think the AI stands a chance in this one. And frankly, I'm also a little bit bored by these AI games. And so let's hope that Acker can make it a little bit more exciting than usual. Maybe he has an interesting strategy that he came up with to win against the AI, because just trying hardest to win is simply not enough to entertain us and the viewers. And so I will cast all 4 games back to back so that we don't lose too much time in between, and that might actually be speeding along during the game at some points, barbecue Turkmen style. I hope he's doing well. I haven't heard from him in a long while. And I'm sure most of the viewers don't even know this name. He used to be a caster for Age of Empires back in the old days, and his trademark was basically speeding past the action. Anyways, we are playing on Nomad. Herr Acker here in the red is playing as the Spanish, so already kind of try-harding here against the AI, so he doesn't seem confident enough to win with a wacky strategy or an interesting strategy. And the blue player is playing as the Bengalis. Now the AI on Nomad is particularly terrible because the AI places suboptimal town centers, which are quite away from the wood, and they don't even place a dock. So this should be easy pickings for Herr Acker. But interestingly, Acker is still a villager behind, even though he is the Spanish. Is the builder bonus... does it apply in Dark Age still? I am not sure if it still does. But even so, Herr Acker should not be this far behind. Although it could be the case that the AI just dropped immediately with a villager. In terms of position, I think the position of Herr Acker is terrible. He's really cramped into this corner. The town center can be reached by galleys, which is always a very bad thing, because if you lose water, it's just so easy to harass you. And then also in terms of resources, the only resource he has is stone here and a stone here, and the next gold is just far away. But as I said, it's against the AI, so it doesn't really matter. Now Herr Acker bringing in the first boar. Whereas the AI already having a boar over here, AI having a weird mill in the middle of nowhere, even though there are some ibex here. So you see that the AI is really struggling with these settings. Even so, it's still pretty even. But Herr Acker, he has the dock, of course, as you should have on Nomad, and so he will just boom ahead and just, yeah, I just hope that he does quick work of the AI in this matchup. I think he should go for some kind of fast castle into castle dropping, which is probably the fastest way to get rid of the AI. Just plonk down a castle over here, build a siege workshop to get rid of that stuff. A few conquistadors, few rams, and a castle. That should be enough. But yeah, we have quite a wait ahead of us, and while we wait, we can maybe talk a little bit about the tournament, about the group stage. So while there have been a lot of sets being played already in the group stage, it has been mostly against the AI. So I myself have not played a set so far, but that's mostly because I have spent so much time casting these AI games. So I should be given some slack for that, because frankly, this is just exhausting to cast these games. However, we have seen a very nice matchup between Splay Buzzer and Gummibär Grün, which was very close, and there is still one game yet to be played. So I'm really looking forward to that. And also, I guess we saw Herr Acker versus Der Vasall, which was also pretty one-sided in favor of Herr Acker, which is why I think that Herr Acker has no problem with the AI whatsoever here. And yeah, but otherwise, still a lot of games and matches missing, but it's quite a while, quite a long time until the group stage has to be finished. And so having the AI basically has played all its sets, so AI is basically done. One player is completely finished with the job, and yeah, so only other players need to catch up. Now we can talk a little bit about strategy. So this is Nomad. Nomad is typically a fast castle type of map. So you go up to feudal age, go a little bit on water typically. So you don't want to do nothing. You really want to build a few fire galleys at least, and then you want to go up to the next age, which is very strong on this map because due to the delayed start, you go up rather late and then you have a lot of resources coming in. Yeah, but looking at the build by Herr Acker, I am not really convinced. I think he has too many on wood. I mean, he's floating quite a bit on wood, only now queuing some fishing ships here, and I think he should just transition towards a different food source, because right now the only food source he has like 5 on berries and then 4 fishing ships. I mean, that's just not gonna be enough. That's not even gonna be enough to go up to feudal age in a reasonable amount of time. Now finally Herr Acker brings in another boar, but he's really hurt by the fact that he never found any sheep, even though one sheep is right here and you might even see it. No, he does not. He basically didn't find any sheep, and he's only going to the berries and not for some ibex in addition. So of course on Nomad the food really comes in from the fishing ships as well, so that's a nice compensation, but you really want to go for as many boars as possible. However, being cramped in a corner also means you have less access to boars, so better starting positions are typically closer to the center of the map, where you just have more boars and resources available, also gold and stone, depending on the map generation. Now our blue AI player is actually coming forward with a villager, and I'm wondering what this villager is supposed to do. Is this just scouting? Although that's a little bit weird because the AI does not need scouting. So I think this villager just wants to suicide, I guess. Now Herr Acker shooting this villager with the town center, but the villager escapes, and so nice little bit of idle time there, and also a sheep captured. So nice heist there by our blue AI player, actually going forward, causing some idle time here. All of this is of course idle time, and capturing a sheep and probably finding another sheep. So very nicely done for the AI, who is expanding its economy. Now finally going for a dock, still in Dark Age, so really also taking its sweet time. Acker now going for feudal age and going for a barracks, and I have to say I don't necessarily like this unless he's going for some kind of wacky man-at-arms strategy or something, like 50 man-at-arms in feudal age. I mean, that would be entertaining and I could see that, but I think he's just going for a suboptimal fast castle build. He's lacking quite a bit of gold and also still lacking the food, although I think he will get there once he is reaching the next age. But the problem is he doesn't have the wood, so he will reach feudal age, but now has dropped so much wood into buildings that he doesn't have the wood to go for market blacksmith or whatever, blacksmith and a stable, and so his castle age will be quite delayed. Now going for the market, so and probably he will need to use the market to buy some wood if it continues like this. Now at the same time, red villager here from Herr Acker scouting. He found his opponent, now going for a nice house in the middle here, but Herr Acker also not going for a fire galley. I think against the AI that's okay. Against the AI you can really not care too much, especially if the AI has idle fishing ships in the middle of nowhere. That is really atypical. Also the AI not up only now going up to the feudal age, but I think the AI will also be able to get kind of a fast-ish castle down on this map. Acker now, as I predicted, he does have the food, but now has the second building. Okay, and now balancing with them heavily with the market, now going up to the next age, but quite a lot of inefficiencies there, as you have seen. He produced more villagers than necessary, really, and I hope that I'm not disturbing Lily too much here. No, I think she is fine. She's watching TV right now. She had enough of the AI games. And so Herr Acker is going up to the next age, to the castle age, going for more fishing ships. And now the blue AI player is up to the feudal age. And as you can see, quite nice resources, but just a lot later than Herr Acker. And that just also shows you the difference between having these fishing ships in the early game and not having them. Now, what Herr Acker doesn't typically do, but what he should really incorporate into his playstyle, especially in such a position, is going for another dock here. Just go for another dock here, take the shore fish, and then all your fishing ships can transfer to these nice deep sea fish, because this one will run out very, very soon, and then it's just a long travel time, and that will mean that the food income of Herr Acker will just suffer. Now the AI going for archery range blacksmith, and I think the AI will click up in a second, idling a little bit, maybe dropping off. Yes, and there it is. Castle H clicked here, very nicely done. So the AI is kind of catching up. Herr Acker not having any farms yet, and as I said, the fish will become less and less efficient the longer the game goes. I mean, this one's still okay-ish, but you can see travel times become just much longer. And now the question is, what is Herr Acker going to do? Is he going for the castle drop that we expected, which is always a great strategy against the AI, to be honest, especially on this difficulty level. I think Herr Acker also maybe placed the house here strategically to be able to get the castle down, but honestly, he should just go all in, maybe just put it down right here. And that's it. Now, luckily for Herr Acker, the AI did not produce anything. If the AI had a few archers, this could be a very different game. And you can see then if you attack the AI, it just starts to fumble a lot. And there is the castle that we expected from Herr Acker, right into the face of the AI. A little bit of villager fighting, actually. That is quite interesting, but you can always overpower the AI if you just send more villagers to fight. Yeah, and so this will just be a rather quick demise of the AI player. I think the AI player will reach Castle Age, but then what is it going to do? It will first lose like 10 villagers here due to the castle. I think at least, yes. One villager down. No villager down yet. And the castle is not shooting at all, is it? No, it's not shooting the town center. Now finally it's shooting the town center. But now we also have the conquistadors. And so, yeah, this is just downhill from here for the AI player. Not much it can do, really. I think it's just a matter of time until you finish it off. Acker could even maybe go for some petards just to speed it up, because getting a siege workshop down always takes a while. Just a few petards to kill the town center would be fine. But yeah, the castle shooting down the sea is enough. However, look at this. The blue player actually has enough for a castle and just goes... I mean, it's a terrible castle, although it does protect a few key resources. And so the blue player might actually be able to get a nice defensive foothold here and then maybe reboom into the game. We also see a siege workshop here, stable over here, stray villager here. And you know that these stray villagers of the AI, they can just go somewhere, drop a town center, boom back. But yeah, the conquistadors are here. Conquistadors are just the perfect unit on Nomad, really overpowered unit. If you look at the stats, 16 attack on a ranged unit in Castle Age, 55 HP, so not terrible. And you can also research bloodlines, some decent armor, 6 range, and will this castle be denied in the end? And the AI, what it likes to do is if the castle is denied, even at 99%, it just deletes the castle right away. However, yes, and that's exactly what it does. And that should be GG in this game. AI has no comeback to this, just lost all its stone for nothing. And I think this is just it. And we can speed right along because there's nothing in this game that could be of interest or that could give anything away also, because the other players also want to see Acker play and want to see him, how he strategizes, how he plays. But in this game, there's really nothing to be learned. AI doing a terrible job here. And we see it in the timeline, just straight up fast castle into castle drop and unique unit play. Alright, so this was game number 1. So let's return to the replays and quickly jump into game number 2. I think it's this one. Yes, indeed, it is this one. Game number 2, oh, another potentially long one in Arena. So I guess in this one we just speed along in the early game because not much is going to happen. Although we can watch Acker try to push some deer. I mean, that depending on how it goes, could give the opponents of his some confidence or not, depending whether he does a good job. I think he's now coming in the second round. He's placing the scouts. He's like, okay, I'm gonna push. Okay, which one is he gonna push? He's going to push this one. Okay, let's see. Moving the scout a little bit off to the side, but I think it's perfectly fine. Pushing the deer nicely underneath the town center, and he will idle the town center because he he was too focused on pushing. And so yeah, he is pushing the deer, and you should always do it, but don't idle the town center because then it's not worth it. Look at the idle time, and that's because he got too fancy. He's like, I'm pushing the deer, I'm bringing in the boar at the same time. Still idle, nothing in the queue. Now finally queuing up some villagers, but that's already one villager down for Herr. So I think Herr's opponents can rejoice a little bit. Herr, well, he is trying to do the pro strats, and he should. But maybe he's doing it a little bit too early, maybe a little bit too much in the early game. Now also trying to push, but not really pushing the deer. Let's see if this deer actually moves back. No, does not move back. Now finally the scouts comes in and shoves the deer underneath Herr's town center. If he manages to do it, let's see. He's coming in at a not optimal angle. I think you want to push this way maybe. Yes, now he's doing that. Okay, that's pretty fine. Just shoot it. Okay, that's pretty good. So Acker clearly practicing deer pushing. And you should know that this practice of deer pushing is so it used to be reserved for arena kind of in the ancient days of Age of Empires 2, but nowadays players have gone so good, and the deer placement has been so consistent and so close to the town centers that basically people do it on all maps. On Arabia you do deer pushing as well. Now a little bit of sloppiness here. Instead of bringing in the second boar, we're now heavily saturated on these deer, and I think the second boar will not be in time. So we have some inefficiencies, some idle times. But yeah, another deer coming in. A little bit of idle time here, but overall not too bad. I think, well, this might be pretty inefficient in the end. Let's see. Well, all of these villagers can fit around the deer, so none of them is shooting this one. Now another villager coming in with the second boar, and yeah, I think this lure won't be too bad actually. It's actually pretty decent. I was fearing that the boar might actually run outside of the town center, but alas, it does not. Let's look at the blue AI player, who is, by the way, playing as the Celts, doing a very standard game. I think the AI on Arena, actually, yeah, pretty standard, pretty miserable. Does not do any deer pushing, doesn't even find the turkeys over here, and so has to resort to some very early farms, which is not very good. Now let's see what Acker is going for here. He has the Khmer, and the Khmer can go for a very fast castle time because they don't need to drop the buildings necessary to go up to the castle age. However, oftentimes players are then surprised that they don't have any resources at all. So it can be a little bit of a double-edged sword. Now what Acker could also go for is some fun early game aggression, like a tower rush. Put a tower down here, or even better here next to the stone, and then shoot and batter down a wall tile, and then just do a tower rush inside of your opponent's base. But I don't think he's going for that. He's just going for a fast castle. But again, inefficient build orders is what we see. He's going to gold way too late. Oh no, he's queuing. Okay, he's okay. I spoke too soon. I thought he was already on the way to village, but only now is he up to the way to village. So it could be enough, but I think he might be struggling for food. Okay, no, he has quite the good berry saturation, so I think he should be able. Should be fine actually. He has enough here now. Maybe dropping a few too many farms. I think only 2 farms would be the ideal here. I think. And you honestly, you don't even need to drop a single farm if you want to go just for a fast castle age. It's not required. There's enough food with the deer and everything. There's enough food to go to the castle age in a normal game. Now we have a little bit of scouting going on, and yeah, nice farming setup here by the blue player, who actually is in the score lead. and that is because the blue player has 2 more villages, because he's not going up to the next stage. He's just like, oh, I'm staying in Dark Age forever. This is arena, I am safe. Herr Acker is not going to do anything, because Herr Acker is a very passive player in many games. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, a lot of the best players are really defensive players. They defend and then they steamroll their opponent. But I think against the AI, it's worth to take a little bit of risk. Now the blue player also going up to the feudal age, slowly expanding. Now also going to gold. Still, blue player hasn't found the turkeys here. So the blue player has to resort to farms, but there's already 8 farms on the map and also a few more on the heavily saturated berry bush. So there should be enough food income for our blue player to go to the castle age in a reasonably quick manner. And so I think Herr Acker, what he wants to do is go for a fast castle into, and he's already on the way to castle age, into a castle drop, although he is very late to the stone. And I think in this situation, what could actually pay off is, instead of going for double bit X, which of course is very good, is to go for the stone mining upgrade. It's pretty cheap, and you can just make it so that you get this castle down just a little bit quicker, because you're able to just harvest that stone a lot quicker. But yeah, I think this is going to be a straightforward game, castle drop, then just go in. I think the Khmer ballista elephants, I mean, you could even go for ballista elephants to cut in, just to entertain us really, but I don't think the AI stands a chance. AI will just about reach feudal age when Herr Acker will reach castle age, and that is just the difference between a human player executing strategies and build orders and the AI player on this difficulty. Of course, the AI knows what it's doing. AI is going for market blacksmith, as you should. And he's just missing a little bit of food and a little bit of gold, and then we can actually go up to the next age. But I think it's the gold is a little bit miscalculated, because the market will be up and these 3 ladies here will not quite be in time to drop off enough gold. Now finally, turkeys have been found, so very nicely done there by the AI player, who is actually ahead in score, but that is just mainly the village difference and a little bit of idle time here by Herr Acker. But look at this, blue player actually also on the way to the castle age rather quickly. And I would say in a normal game, I would like to set up of the blue player a lot better. So if a good player would now take over the spot of the AI player, I think they would be in a pretty decent spot. I mean, yes, there's a castle coming forward, but typically you can just wall around, like wall from here to the mill and then to the house, and then from here. And then, yeah, you can really negate a lot of the damage. And then, of course, you need to get your own castle down. But yeah, the one big problem for the AI player is that actually both stones are forward. And I think this is almost a bugged map, right? I mean, okay, you only have 1 stone in your base. Okay, that's fair enough, but this is completely forward. So the AI player will not be able to get any stone in this matchup on this map. And so I think that's going to be GG for the AI player. So actually pretty bad resource placement, pretty interesting arena generation. Yeah, I wonder if this is the normal arena or if it has been changed recently. But yeah, here is the castle, and then you can just go for a petard or 2 to bust down the walls. And now we also have a monastery coming down. And yeah, there's not much the AI can do, especially since on this Nomad generation AI doesn't have much space. On some, not Nomad, on Arena, this is what I meant to say. So on some Arena generations there's a lot of space, so you can really extend, but on this one this is not the case. And also stone walls get more hit points when you reach Castle Age. So this is why this gate got kind of a second wind here. Took just a little bit longer to be better down. But yeah, a good player would have seen this coming and would have started to wall across here. But yeah, there's actually not really necessary, as Herr Acker is not doing anything, is really just going for a 1 TC all-in without the all-in. But I think you just want to leapfrog castles, and I think that could actually be a killer move here against the AI, because the AI likes to suicide units into castles, and also the AI cannot go for a castle of its own. So yeah, just the next castle right here, and then maybe another one somewhere else could be enough. But of course, the AI player, pretty good at booming, already having the second town center up, is behind in villagers, interestingly enough. I don't know why. Did some villagers die? I think it's because of Wheelbarrow. Yeah, Wheelbarrow just came in. Yeah, and now the AI is just sending some lonely rams against a castle, and that's just not going to work. I mean, he just needs to save those rams until you have like 8 of them and some units inside them, maybe some spearmen, because this ram is not going to achieve anything. I mean, it's going to do what, like 300 damage to the castle, like one more attack, and there it is. Yeah, that's not good enough. And now we have the ballista elephants, and honestly, Herr Acker could just go in and just finish the job, do something interesting here. But I fear that is not what we're going to happen. Now we have 2 town centers, 3rd town center on the way, but so much pressure here by Herr Acker already in the front of the blue player's base. And I think the only thing that could save the blue player is some kind of like saving up some rams and spearmen, and then just doing a Hail Mary for that castle to break free, because Herr Acker on the back of this has nothing. He's not really expanded his economy. His map generation is also not the greatest. He only has this wood line over here. Really big open area here to the side, so interesting map generation. But he doesn't really go for more economy, but he also doesn't need to, because he can just push in with castles and ballista elephants, and I think soon there will be the point of no return. Yes, blue player is in a village lead, but that is not meaningful at all if you're in this type of situation. Now, a lot of damage on these ballista elephants by the town center. Oh, look at those! Ballista elephants have 3 pierce armor from the get-go and 10 attack. They are also a very, very crazy unit, very hard to counter for many civilizations. And I think the Celts, well, the Celts with Siege Onager might actually be okay against them, but yeah, not great right there. And I think the blue player has nothing, and we can just speed along, just a very methodical approach here by Herr Acker. Not too exciting, but I can't blame him. I mean, he needs the wins, of course, but also, this should give other players a little bit of hope against their Acker. I mean, I think you can really surprise him with an early rush on Arena, or just with a nice second layer of defense, your own castle, and then just boom ahead. I mean, the AI is struggling and is only now falling behind in terms of villager population, and I think this game will end soon. Now we've got some mangonels here, town centers being shot down, a little bit of a miss micro there by Herr Acker. But all in all, it does not really matter, and soon there will be no villagers left here for a blue player, who now finally resigns. And this was the second game. Pretty methodical approach, as I said, and no real challenge here for Herr Acker. Now let's look at the 3rd game. Of course, it's a play all 4, a bit of a weird format that Herr Acker invented, and oh my god, another closed map. I think we're just gonna speed along. I mean, no one really wants to see this. We have our blue player, the AI player, as the Mayans here, and our red player as the Burgundians on the wall. And I'm a little bit disappointed, because Herr Acker is really playing hard meta game. He's not really trying for something fun, but he's going for one of the strongest civilizations on closed maps like this in the Burgundians. They get the economy upgrades 1 age earlier, so you get a very nice eco lead, and then you just boom away, and you have very strong gunpowder, the Custilier, and so on. And so I think also in terms of civ matchup, our smoking squirrel over here does not stand a chance against Herr Acker and the Burgundians. But of course, it's a closed map, so we won't see any action, and so that's also a little bit questionable. Why both arena, all 3, like Nomad, Arena, and the Wall were picked, which are very slow games, and also not really in favor of the AI. Yeah, now the AI doing some weird shenanigans. mining some gold, but then only building the mining camp with the final villager, who then actually does not gather any gold, but rather goes to the berries. So you can see that the AI is just super, super inefficient. Smoking Squirrel now in a feudal age. Acker also in the feudal age. Interesting enough. So not going for a fast castle is Herr Acker. Oh, he is going for a fast castle. Okay, that's actually a rather tight build of only their own 22 plus 2 villagers, so that's actually nicely executed. Although he didn't really make use of his bonuses of getting the economy upgrades 1 age earlier. So I think with the Burgundians, I think it's worth it to go up maybe 1 or 2 villages later, but get the economy upgrades earlier, especially against an opponent like the AI, who will clearly do nothing. I mean, the AI has archers here in the archery range and will probably try to attack the walls, or maybe it doesn't even know it can attack the walls. Does the AI know that it needs to go through here, or does it not know that that's how this works? We just have to wait and see how this one goes. Now Acker in the castle age, now he's going booming. But yeah, the booming approach, I don't know, is a little bit... he's only on 2 town centers. I think he should maybe sell some of his gold to get a 3rd town center up, which he could now afford for sure, and then buy some food just to get the 3rd town center. Now he's going for a barracks, not completing it, and now for a battering ram, but I'm not sure. I don't think the battering ram and battering through the wall is actually in the interest of Herr Acker. That is interesting. I don't think that's what he wants, because look at the army here, and luckily for him, he stopped battering down the walls, because Smoking Squirrel is coming in, guns blazing, with a huge army of archers, skirmishes, and he is now also in the next age. But yeah, the problem is that he doesn't really realize that he can attack. Oh, no, yeah, he does realize that he can attack the wall here. But it will just take a long time until he can break through. But this still, crossbowman now on the field for Smoking Squirrel. Elite skirmisher on the way, which doesn't make any sense at all. But of course, for Herr Acker, we now have knights and also scorpions. But what Herr Acker really wants, I think, with the Burgundians is the Cavalier upgrade in Castle Age, which is very unique to the Burgundians. Although Burgundians do like bloodlines, so the Cavaliers is not as strong as you might think, because it's the same HP as a knight with bloodlines, but plus 2 attack. Now what the AI... Oh yeah, the AI does have plus 2 attack. And see, look at this, the Scorpion just gets shredded. And I think Acker is like, And that's why I don't like that such a map is used against the AI, because the AI clearly doesn't know what to do against the wall. And almost Acker did a big blunder in battering down the walls, but he realized soon enough. But yeah, AI actually now in the offensive. Also the AI expanding its economy now, 3 town centers, maybe even going up to a 4th. Herr Acker only on 2. No, Herr Acker is on 3 town centers. My bad. But he's not really producing from 3 town centers. I mean, if you look at the resources here, maybe saving for imp, but in that case, I mean, he still doesn't have the gold, so you should just invest that food into villagers, but he's not really doing that. So I think that gives the blue player to come back into this game somewhat, although now we have Mangonel out on the field and a Scorpion, and I think that's just terrible here by the blue player. I mean, one Scorpion will get shot down, and maybe the Mangonel will get shot down even. Yes, I think it will get shot down. No final hit there. So I think, yeah, even though the blue player lost a lot of units there, I think it was pretty much an even trade, to be honest. And now Herr Acker going for a sneaky side attack, which would, I mean, yes, it will work against the AI, but not because the AI doesn't see it, because the AI sees the whole map. But rather it's, and then even going for a cute gate behind. So yes, against the human player, I think this is quite a cute maneuver, but I think the AI player doesn't react to this because the AI player is just stupid. The AI player saw this, and you will see that the units will not even fight the Cavalier, but they will still attack the archery. Now finally they're switching targets, and even not killing even a single Cavalier, because they're just trying to retreat through the massive Cavaliers, and that is just so horrible here by the AI player. No real chance. However, as exactly what I predicted happened is that the AI player, in terms of village numbers, now at the same level or almost the same level as Herr Acker, even though the AI player is losing villages left and right by just trying to build this market with a single villager, which will not happen against the Cavaliers from Herr Acker, who just needs more and more Cavalier, and then he can just run in and kill all the towns. There's no need for Imp. So Herr Acker, of course, now going for Imp, but that's just, I mean, it's just overkill. Just go for 25 Cavalier and kill the town center. That's just good enough against the AI player, who is clearly not doing anything. Okay, now going for monks, and that can, I mean, it's, I think these monks are just collecting relics, but if the AI would actually use the monks against the knights, then that could actually be pretty strong here for our blue AI player. But as it stands, yeah, there's nothing the AI can do, although Herr Acker loses a lot of Cavaliers here. We have some few pikemen here getting a few pokes off here or there, but villagers are dying. But look at this, still like the same number of villagers. A more competent player that would actually use the monks would actually be able to come back in this situation, I would think, because it's not as dire as you may think. But of course now the blue player is losing more and more, and yeah, I think this will just be a matter of time until Herr Acker wins this game. Look at this, the blue player just using the monks just to get the relics, and this is just the downfall. If it had used the monks defensively, then this could actually be a very different game. So yeah, I mean, yes, Herr Acker wins this one, but I think against a more competent player, this push was not very good. I mean, even now you can see that he cannot even deal a decisive blow. Like a lot of the Cavaliers have died. Now the castle against a competent human player could even deny the castle here almost, with the monks in the mix. But of course he's not using the monks with the crossbowman here. But of course now Herr Acker also going for the +4 defense, and with that the Cavalier will be unstoppable underneath the town center fire, who only does 7 damage against the 6 pierce armor that they will have here, these Cavalier. And then that will be all she wrote, but Smoking Squirrel really putting up a fight here, almost equalizing the villager number of Herr Acker in the mid game, but now of course falling due to the castle drop and the influx of these Cavalier, who will now be paladins soon. So I guess we can just speed along, nothing much to see here. Yeah, no chance here by the AI, because the AI doesn't know how to play the wall. But Herr Acker also showing some weaknesses, not very, like, he's not really defended. So one thing you could do in such a situation, just breaks through somewhere else and just raid. And now Herr Acker is going for, okay, for 1 minute I thought he would go for Flemish Revolution or something. But yeah, he's completely undefended, and so there's some great raiding, counter raiding potential that could be done. But now it's just a waiting game here. I think we go for the fastest speed here. No way that we're gonna wait through this. And the blue AI resigns, and it's 3-0 for Herr Acker in this map. But yeah, I think here in the mid game, like if the smoking squirrel had realized how to play this map, this could have looked a little bit different actually. But yeah, now only one more game left in this AI series, game 4 between the blue AI player and red player Herr Acker, and we're playing on Spiral is I think what this is called. I think it's from T90's Titans League. And yeah, as the map suggests, it's a giant spiral. You have all this wood in the center, you have some gold in the center, but there's also some buildable terrain here. So I think you can probably just fit a castle here or a town center. And so you might want to go for a dock early on this map. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the meta game, because like these gimmicky maps like this one, yeah, look at this gimmick. So you have this little palisade here that you can kill, and then you get 2 herdables, but then you also have these berry bushes that you can go for. It's a little bit too gimmicky for my style. It's always exactly the same layout, so you exactly know where your opponent is. It's if you're on this water end, then you know that your opponent has to be on the other water end. It's always the same, and then outside of that, it's just kind of Arabia generation. So basically, they took Arabia and then put this big spiral in the center. And I think it works for like some tournament games, leading to some variety. People have to figure out the optimal way of playing, but I think for our level, it's not the best, because we don't really care for the optimal strategy on this one. But now Acker finally, he is actually playing as the Persians, going for a more interesting strategy, and you might have guessed it what it is. It is, of course, the Persian douche. And so finally we see something worth our time here. Going forward with how many villages? Now that's the question. I'm not able to actually select them. But yeah, I think, yeah, and you look at the blue AI player just having a seizure here. He has an epileptic seizure with his villagers. They don't know what to do. And so this town center will complete, and I think a lot of villagers might actually die. Let's see. One villager already down, but look at this, the AI player already in the feudal age. So that is interesting. And so a smart player would just abandon this area, basically keep some in the town center to keep Herr Acker honest, but then just abandon and rebuild the town center somewhere else. And best place would maybe even here forward in Herr Acker space with all the idols here, kind of a food please economy, even though there's still a lot of food, like food rotting away, food rotting away here. Only 3 on wood against a human player. I don't think that would be enough. Also Herr Acker heavily housed, only now going for a house. And yes, of course he will win the douche. He's the Persians, but it's not the best douche. And honestly, I think against a different player, even if you're the Persians, you can lose douche. I mean, look at this. Yes, I mean, he's only at 1,000 hit points, but here almost 2,000 hit points have been lost already. So not the best execution there, but it will be enough against our blue air player, who is really down in villagers and who has nothing to come back from this. All the villagers are idle. There's one working here now. All the villagers are ejected, and I think that will be all she wrote in this game. Now we just wait for the blue villagers to die one by one. Now they're even trying to go for the sheep here, killing the sheep underneath the town center of Herr Acker. And I think this will be a quick one. Finally, a quick game against the AI. More and more villagers dying. Down to 12 villager is our blue player, who was playing the Mongols, by the way, but it really doesn't matter. The Persians win this one handily. The only thing I don't like here from Herr Acker is like, why are you not will fighting? Just go forward, just do will fighting. The town center is still standing. Like come on, get this over with. What are you even working on? I mean, now he's going for dock. Are you for real? You won this game. Like, your opponent has nothing. Now finally coming in with a scout to kill the villagers. And I think now it's just, I don't know when the AI will give up. I mean, it's 6 villagers, 5 villagers, 4 villagers. These are all the villagers. 3, 2. And let's see. Will all villagers of blue player die? Yes, all villagers are dead, but the AI still does not resign. The AI is like, I am not gonna resign until you destroy everything I have. And now finally the AI is actually defeated, so it doesn't even give up, but is actually defeated. And so yeah, that's a nice timeline here. Actually going down to 0 population for our blue player, but yeah, very dominant victory here for Herr Acker, really making sure that he wins against the AI, but a little bit scared. I think he could have used these matches as kind of training matches. Yeah, the AI is not a real challenger, but that gives you time to practice some builds or certain unit combinations that you otherwise maybe wouldn't go for. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but in the end, Herr Acker gets the job done, and the AI is finished 4-0. And I think the AI is with this is, I think, last place for sure. Or not quite. I don't know if Herr Acker has, if Jesse has played against the AI yet. I will have to look that up. All right, my name is Peter Host, and this was my cast of the series Herr Acker versus the AI, and I hope to see you soon.